Welcome to this channel. I am Juice, this is Bourbon. If you can see him, he kind of represents, the amount of times that I have filmed this intro, so I'm gonna keep it short. We're about to embark on a journey that combines my love and my mission for making my own clothes so that I have control over design and material sourcing, together with my longing for having the perfect knit sweater, which is hopefully going to remain in my wardrobe for years and years to come. Don't get me wrong, I've definitely found pieces online that I would love to have in my wardrobe, but unfortunately they came with a price tag that is not accessible to me right now, as knitting is. So let's go ahead and talk about materials and patterns. The pattern I chose is this lovely one by Daisy and Peace. I found it on Etsy and chose it because it had all of my design wishes and is knit with a chunkier yarn. Speaking of, there are several aspects to navigate when choosing your yarn, most importantly being the gauge. This is something I had to learn about, so I watched this video that I have linked for you in the description box down below if you want to learn something new as well. I decided to go with 700 grams of this yarn by Lana Grossa in black because I know that black is a safe bet to remain in my wardrobe over the years. So a little anxious, I knit a couple of samples and roughly hit gauge by going down on my needle sizes. So in the end, I knit with 3.5 and 4.5 millimeter round needles. On this sunny afternoon, when I dared to start this project, it took me multiple tries to cast on because I left too short of a tail and was still getting used to the yarn and stitch size. Okay, while I get back into the swing of things with knitting, let me introduce you to our sponsor today, Vivaya. I recently invited 2 new additions into my wardrobe, which came in simple and recycled packaging, representing the brand's mission to be a responsible footwear brand that starts with sustainable materials. As I've started this video talking about my wardrobe philosophy, I have quite a high standard of criteria for bringing new items into my wardrobe, and I'm going to tell you why these shoes have made the cut. The Helen Mule has become my favorite pair for wearing while working at home in my studio, helping me feel put together while elevating my casual everyday outfits. The upper of Vivaya's shoes are knitted with 3D technology from recycled plastics, giving this material a new life while creating seamless designs, minimizing waste during production. The durability of their knit translates to long wear and machine washable options for their flats, loafers, and sneakers, meaning easy care and upkeep over the years. Another detail of these shoes that encompasses your comfort and happiness during wear is the super soft and breathable natural latex sole. Not just the material, but the comfort and versatility ensure these pairs to remain in your wardrobe for years to come, which to me is a huge prerequisite to conscious consumerism. With the neutral colors and designs made to last, these pairs are effortless to style with clothes I already have in my wardrobe. A great example is this pair of square toe lace-up Isabel boots. I have been looking for a pair of comfortable boots that accompany my simple outfits to run errands, but can be dressed up to more elegant looks. And let me tell you, styling these for my fall and winter wardrobe has been so fun, and I can't wait to show you my outfits with my finished sweater and these booties at the end of this video for the perfect cold weather combo. So if you personally also have been on the lookout to add a new pair of shoes into your wardrobe that's hopefully gonna last in there for many years to come from a brand that takes responsibility and focuses on eco-consciousness, I do have a code for you that gives you 20% off, and the code is Yusuf. Now, I think Vivaya also has a free exchange and return policy within the US, but I have listed additional information on promotions and shipping information in the description box. Lastly, thank you to Vivaya for sponsoring this segment of the video, and now let's get this knitting project rolling. On the road, let's go. Starting the engine, and I'll see you there. So after gaining some momentum and knitting the rib, I started just knitting the main pattern, and for some reason in the middle of my rows I would just turn around. I think it was because I was talking to my sister, being distracted, so I had to open my work a couple of times. But y'all, I promise we're moving forward and I will get to being focused while knitting very soon. After the hurdle of practicing my focus while knitting the rib for the back panel, I slowly got the hang of it. Let's touch on beginner mistakes, specifically losing motivation. Starting this project was definitely daunting, considering my high expectations for this piece and the amount of work I knew stood before me. Mostly though, it would be my inexperience completing this type of clothing that sometimes took my motivation, as I would feel like I wasn't making progress, even though every stitch was indeed a step forward. I think I really need to reach a milestone today, so a step in the pattern instructions. Got probably 3 more inches to go, and then we can change things up a bit. I'm just feeling myself get bored. I just gotta push through. Welcome to phase 2 of this video, and I call it that because there was an unforeseeable break in production due to some health issues. Long story short, my colon got infected. Very fun, not fun at all, which has moved this whole project back to, well, now. I finished back panel though, and because my last month has been a mess, that was mainly off camera. Pressure's on though, because I have set myself a goal to finish knitting my sweater for my upcoming Berlin trip, which is in 10 days. So we are starting a countdown today. And today also marks the beginning of our sprint to knitting the front panel. This is where I'd like to give you an overview of all of the pieces we have to show you where we are in the process. We need a back panel, we need a front panel, which we're making today. We need 2 sleeves, then we need to stitch it all together and add a collar. So since the pattern for the front and the back panel are fairly identical, I am going into this fairly courageous and want to finish this big piece of my sweater by tomorrow. So let's see y'all. Calm down, Juice. okay. I'm not sure where all of this motivation came from, but y'all, I will take it as my deadline working for some productive time pressure. I knitted all evening and made some considerable progress, which is so satisfying for any handcrafting project. Now it's time to cast off the stitches at the shoulder seam, which you saw in the drawing. This was a little bit of a struggle because it was pretty late at night, but we got there in the end. I made some knots, and that is our front panel complete. Now that we have the back and the front panel completed, it feels so good to have the largest pieces knitted and being over halfway done. If I would look at it in percentages, I would say we're 60% in. I feel like I'm making some good but slow progress on the sleeves. I'm also constantly learning new things since I've never knitted a cuff or sleeve before, and it's super nice seeing how things take shape. Now, y'all can see the progress of the sweater, but doing all of this are many hours, so I thought I would take a second and give you some insight into my knitting experience. I have discovered that I love making clothes, and I think you've figured that out by now. Being in control of material sourcing, design, and the actual crafting has been immensely fulfilling. I've grown up to older generations representing the skill and pastime of knitting, which is cool, but I just want to recommend it to everyone here because the act of working on something hands-on in a relatively slow pace has been such an enrichment in my life. At times, I knit with quite a meditative approach. Other times, most of the knitting done on this sweater, I knit accompanied by listening or watching something I consume anyways. So knitting on the side of your favorite entertainment can help you progress consistently with your yarn work. Making this a hobby, anyone could integrate into their life, if not to express some creativity, definitely to be a source of relaxation. And that was my sales pitch for knitting. Let's get cracking with the second sleeve and thinking about what the heck to watch while knitting. For the sleeves, I felt like I was moving forward fairly quickly because these pieces weren't as wide as the front and back, and we were more knitting to make it taller. And now we have 2 completed sleeves. Here are my beautiful sleeves. One sleeve, the other sleeve. It's annoying to handle them because they have these like long balls of yarn on them. So our 2 sleeves, here are the front and the back. Already feels like a blanket. And here's my wool needle. I highly suggest getting a real wool needle because I used to spend like minutes trying to thread needles that weren't big enough for my yarn. So here's my good friend, and I'm gonna try to do everything in a mattress stitch. So let's go to the desk and stitch everything together. With the excitement of being so close to finishing our sweater, I assumed the sewing to take place from the inside, so I started pinning, and after researching the mattress stitch, I realized this technique is done on the right side actually, allowing a nice stitch pattern. For casting off the collar, I tried to do this as loosely as possible so the neck would remain elastic, and used a technique to cast off ribbing called the Kitchener stitch. Now, this wasn't elaborated on in the pattern, so I found a helpful tutorial on YouTube. And this is actually how I usually go about things. I lean on a couple of external sources outside of the patterns I use, since I am not yet familiar with all of the terminologies and techniques as a beginner. And I am looking forward to learning as I go throughout my whole knitting journey. This is what I mean by the seams being a little obvious, and also I can feel them while I wear it. It's just a bit thick, so I guess another time while inserting sleeves I would use a different technique, but maybe this is also going to become a little softer and less apparent with wear and time. I think I said yesterday that my stitches in the front weren't perfectly even. In the back, it's probably even worse. That doesn't bother me. I think it's more how the collar is laying on my neck and on my shoulders that it's standing out a bit. I think I want to change that. So let's go back to the desk and try to open my cast off stitches and try to make this into something a little more pretty. I'm thinking about folding it inside, and hopefully in the end I can say that it's a perfect sweater. Let's go. This is the story of the third iteration of our collar. Now, even though I basically accomplished my little time goal to wear the sweater to Berlin, the collar slash the neckline is really tight, so I didn't cast it off loosely enough. First, because I was super stressed, and second, because we didn't have a lot of yarn left. And y'all, this ain't gonna work to be worn every day, because every time I think about this sweater, I think about having to pull it over my head. So we are not at main character status yet for my wardrobe. We're about to change that. My plan is to go for the same ribbed collar like the pattern, just maybe add 2 or 3 more rows. And look what I found. I found a ball of yarn under the shelf that was standing here, and I was actually waiting for more yarn to come in the mail. Well, that is useless now. Let's get on with this. Y'all, we have made it. You have made it to the end of this video, and I have made it to finish my sweater. These are 2 simple outfits I wear every single week. You're gonna see they're both black on black. The first one features these dress pants, super simple fit for working at home and also for going grocery shopping, because that's all I do. The second outfit is a variation of something I wear every single week, which is styling this dress with tights. So here I'm styling it with my sweater. I love this fit. And also here is my coat that I wear on more sunny days, and in the winter I would just add a couple more layers. So those are 2 of my favorite current fits, accompanied super well also with my Vivaya boots. Thank you y'all for following this journey. Maybe you got some knitting inspiration. Let me know if you want to see me do more knitting projects in the future. Maybe we're gonna improve our difficulty levels. I've linked everything I mentioned in this video in the description box below, and hopefully I will see you soon. Actually, I know I'll see you soon. So till then, till December. Bye y'all.